Hello again, welcome to the Ref Show, and I do mean the Ref Show times two. We've actually got two referees here in the studio today, so where is the footballing expertise? That is the first question for Mark Halsey and Roger Dilkes, both ex-players.
Oh, absolutely, you beat me to it there. You've got the A-team.
Both ex-players,
Yeah,
an ex-winger and an ex-goalkeeper.
No, full-back.
Defender.
Oh, I thought you played on the wing.
No.
I've seen him play.
I just stopped the wingers.
Yeah, he puts them in a rose head. That's how he stopped them.
Unfair means.
Correct.
And I hope you came across some tough referees in your career.
Poacher turned gamekeeper.
He wouldn't survive
Indeed.
today's game, I'm telling you.
Right. It sounds like he wouldn't. Premier League games, big action there, lots in the Football League because it gets to this time of the year. Yeah. Big issues are being decided all over the place. We've got some congratulations to offer to some clubs and some managers. And we start with the FA Cup semi-finals. So congratulations Manchester United and Chelsea, who will be in opposition in the final. I know you've had a close eye on both the semi-finals over the weekend. Starting with Manchester United Spurs, United going through 2-1. Big question for you to start with. Was Valencia lucky not to be sent off in that game?
I think so. I think it was a challenge that warranted a red card. For me, it was a reckless challenge with excessive force that endangered the player's safety. And any young referee watching here or watching in this show, for me, you do not play advantage on those sort of challenges, especially on the halfway line in front of the technical area where the coaching staff are. And and it's got to be a real advantage. There was no real advantage on the halfway line, and that was an opportunity to get in there and stamp your authority on the game. I think Valencia was lucky. On another day, I think he could have seen red by another referee.
Anthony Taylor was in charge. I mean, normally a safe pair of hands for a
absolutely,
for a big game.
And you look at that challenge on Saturday, and then you look at the one at Brighton the week before. Proper who was sent off, and you compare and contrast the two challenges, and there's no comparison. The Valencia one was far worse.
There was sorry.
Well, I just thought. I mean, as Andy, he's steady, but I just thought his recognition of challenges and yellow card offences. I mean, we look at the Rashford caution for simulation. Now, for me, that's never simulation because he's riding the challenge. He's jumped over the player, and when he lands, he loses his footing and his balance, and he goes down. And I was amazed.
Absolutely. A player going at speed like that is not going to let the defender, when he comes across, clatter him. He's going to leap him. Yeah. Now he's going at speed. He's looking where his feet are landing, he's off balance and he falls, and he's given a caution for that.
It's a bit like an opponent taking evasive action against one of your challenges,
well, absolutely.
Roger. Then, eh?
Absolutely, can't argue with that, Alan.
But technically, a player that takes evasive action from a challenge, you can still give a free kick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Which kind of is sufficient. You're arguing that you don't have to. Wilfred Zaha of Crystal Palace, not for the first time, will be a topic of another discussion a little bit later on the show on the same subject. We move on to Martin Atkinson's game now, which was the other semi-final. Chelsea 2, Southampton 0, which was conclusive enough. But I know that you've got a view on what appeared to be a disallowed goal. We're not sure it actually eventually went in or not, but a corner was taken. Tadic is involved. Takes the corner. Charlie Austin is in opposition to Caballero, and a foul is awarded on the goalkeeper as the ball goes towards the goal. What's your view?
Well, I mean, I was listening, obviously, to watch it on BT Sport, and obviously the referee pundit on there come out and said that if a goalkeeper's feet is off the ground within the 6-yard box, then he becomes protected. Well, there's nothing in the laws of the game that says that's the case. Yeah. Nothing at all in the laws of the game. What it does say in the laws of the game is that a referee, how does a referee deem when the goalkeeper's got the ball under control? Now, for the goalkeeper to have the ball under control, it's got to be between his palms, in his hands. So that's one criteria on that situation. Now, Does Charlie Austin really foul the goalkeeper, Caballero? I don't think so, but it's subjective. Martin feels it is. I mean, that's why VAR hasn't got involved, because it's a subjective. It's not a clear and obvious error. It's opinion.
As a goalkeeper yourself, would you have expected a foul?
No.
You wouldn't.
Not at all. Not in that situation. For me, he looks like he's dropped the ball, hasn't he? He's dropped it. He's not. He's never in control of the ball. And I don't think Charlie Austin does much wrong either.
No.
Is there too much protection for goalkeepers? Do you think?
No, I think keepers should be protected when necessary. So obviously, if you're jumping high for a ball, your hands are up, you're going to catch that ball, and all of a sudden he comes in like he used to and gives you a little nudge. Then yes, that's a free kick, because any sort of little nudge takes you offline, and obviously you're going to miss the ball.
Being off the ground is irrelevant. You're
I
saying.
mean, the other thing, and this is where the coaching thing comes in, if that similar incident had been in the centre circle, two players coming together in exactly the same way, you would not be given a foul.
No. All right.
And that is what you need to think about.
So you're clear on that. Now, for the fourth time in his Premier League career, Wilfried Zaha of Crystal Palace was cautioned at the weekend for what the game calls simulation. I mean, there were a couple of incidents in that. There was one in the first half where he thought he should have had a penalty, but he kind of lost his footing, I thought, on the run. Just lost his footing.
He lost it, like we said about Rashford. He's lost his balance. He's lost his balance. There's a little bit of jostling going on, but it's a physical game. It's a contact sport, so not every little bit of contact a free kick.
No.
or a penalty.
And there's one later which arguably was
well, for me it was an absolutely nailed on penalty, because when Mariappa goes to ground in those circumstances, you're running a risk, and Chris Kavanagh was very in close proximity, wasn't he? Whether he was too close, it could have been a little bit too close.
Yeah, he's good positioning generally in the game. Yeah. He's a fit lad, he moves around the field of play. He got the first one absolutely spot on. Yeah. The second one, where he cautions Zaha for simulation, for me, that was a penalty. And
are you penalty as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk about you earn a reputation of going down easily, but as a referee, you have to judge.
Yeah.
You know what's in front of you at that time, and the thing that bothers me with this is that now if Zaha goes down in the box, okay, and referee gives a penalty, and then everybody deems it a simulation, deceiving the referee, he will then face retrospective action, a 2-game ban. Now, in this situation, he's gone down, he's been fouled, it's a penalty, but he picks up a caution. So we can't have it both ways. So if we're looking to do retrospective action, then surely that caution has to be taken away.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, Roy Hodgson, in fairness to a very dignified man in the way that he presents himself, he rarely criticises referees, very rarely, doesn't want to get involved in that. But when he says he felt it was unjust and that Zaha's reputation is undeserved, I think you do have to listen more than you might do to another manager.
And I think the other thing that, because I watched the game, so it was very apparent to me watching it on TV that the Watford had set the stall out to upset Zaha. Yeah. There were quite a number of strong challenges on this player because he's the star player.
Well, it's brilliant.
It's a matter of fact that when Zaha plays, Crystal Palace get more points than when he doesn't play. And so he's a key player. There were 8 yellow cards in this game, so that tells you some idea of the ferocity of some of the challenges. He draws challenges as well, doesn't he? By the way that he plays. He does. But the other thing is that, and Mark's alluded to this many times in the past, we've got a young referee here who is destined for the future. Make no mistake about that. Chris Kavanagh will be an excellent referee in years to come. But what the PGMO need to start thinking about is giving them more games and giving them games that they can build on, rather than coming from a Liverpool Bournemouth game last weekend into a dogfight like this. Watford, Crystal Palace at this stage of the season was always going to be a dogfight. So you're going from a game that he should be able to handle to one that will be a real challenge for the boy. Yeah, it's an interesting point. That's what happened at the weekend. But just going on to Roy Hodgson, I've worked with him at BN Sport, and he is very, very fair. And I think we all agree on that. When he speaks, people listen. We've got to listen. The other Saturday game, Stuart Atwell was presiding. That was a thrilling game, particularly in the finish. West Brom 2, Liverpool 2.
Darren Moore's still unbeaten as West Brom manager.
Absolutely.
Had a good start. Two incidents. There was an off the ball one, but there was also, I mean, anybody watching, surely a foul on Danny Wing.
Yeah.
Danny Ings should have been a penalty to Liverpool.
I mean, I'll pick that one up. I mean, the one thing that Stuart Atwell's got to learn is that when there is an incident, whether he gets it right or gets it wrong, he's got to stop telling everybody that this is why he's give it. Yeah. And he's going like this to say that Ings and Dawson have come together. When Dawson takes him out, it's a nailed-on penalty. So it makes him look silly.
But not only that, you look at teamwork as well. But although Stuart's in a good position, the assistant referee's got a great view. He hasn't got, there's no offside to contend with. So the assistant referee's got a great view across there. So, there's just no teamwork at the moment, is there, on certain games with the assistant and the referees.
And the off-the-ball incident in that game might have invoked
I have to say, I think the FA will be looking at that, and I think he'll be missing the last 3 games of West Brom season.
Yeah, and that was on Ings again, because it was really good to see Danny Ings coming back to full fitness after his terrible run of injuries since he joined Liverpool
and scoring
from Burnley and scores his first goal, and he's on the floor, and the Egyptian central defender Hegazi, whatever his name is.
Good luck with the pronunciation. But you notice I stay quiet there.
But Roger's spot on. Once again, Stuart's in a good position.
And he's looking at it.
But John Moss, the fourth official's got to be looking at that as well. Although it's just a powder puff punch, the laws say attempting to punch or punching an opponent is an act of violent conduct. Okay. So I'd imagine the FA would be looking at that today.
And picking up the country of origin for the gentleman we've just been talking about, just to equal it, how many times have we seen 2 Egyptian players playing against each other in the same game in the Premier League? I don't think so, because Salah is his country teammate.
And he let him know he was about it,
and they got stuck into each other as well.
That's an important ingredient. Another goal from Salah in that game as well. Just briefly, the rest of the Premier League, Manchester City 5, Swansea 0. I mean, it says a lot for a manager and a team when they've won the title and they just carry on steamrolling the opposition.
Good atmosphere it was.
Craig Pawson must have enjoyed that. I know you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was invited by obviously Manchester City and Gary Owen, so it was just addressing the fans. It was good before and at half time. It was a great carnival atmosphere, and obviously once again some wonderful football.
And great goals.
But I don't think, obviously Swansea would take that they'd lose that game, so I think they've got other games.
I think they did. I think they budgeted for that.
Yes.
0-1.
Stoke 1, Burnley 1. Keenly contested. Mike Dean was in charge of that. And nothing to raise, which is good.
Good comeback after last week at Southampton, Chelsea with the Alonso incident.
Indeed, because we talked about that last week, didn't we? Arsenal 4, West Ham 1. Before we talk about the Arsenal manager, great finish to that game with the Arsenal goals. Lee Mason, I dare say, enjoyed his game at the Emirates.
Walk around the park.
Walk around the park, yeah. All he did, he was a dog with him, wasn't he?
But you can only, as you often say, you can only referee what's in front of you. So
but put a little bit of effort into it as well.
Yeah. All right. A long start of a farewell for Arsene Wenger, the Arsenal manager. You don't need us to add any tributes because they've been fulsome and deservedly so, in my opinion, for this man who not only was a successful manager for a huge amount of time, 22 years, but played the kind of football that we all want to see, changed some of the culture of the way teams go about it. What are your experiences of this man?
I mean, it's one outstanding moment for me that sticks out with Arsene Wenger. I've refereed his teams and him over the years many times. Never had a problem with Arsene, but there was a time when obviously I took some leave out of football, battling my illness, and obviously with my wife as well, because obviously she's got leukemia. It was at the Reebok, or the Macron as it is now, and they were Bolton were playing Arsenal, and I was at the game, was in the dressing room area, and he came up to me and gave us a hug, and he said, "How's your wife, Michelle?" Obviously, and I said, "Oh, she's here today. She's doing okay." He said, "Take me to her." So I took him all the way upstairs into the players' lounge where everybody was standing. In walks Arsene. Everybody's. And then he sat down and spoke to my wife for 10 minutes and asking how she's doing, how she's going through. And he didn't need to do that. No. So that's something that sticks in my mind about Arsene.
And that's
he's a gentleman.
And that's so consistent with what Bob Wilson said about the care for his family when his daughter was terminally ill. It says an awful lot, doesn't it, really, about the man. Personally, I've interviewed him 2 or 3 times and found him a total gentleman. Not the kind of fella you can ask him a question. If it's a fair question, he won't always answer it in the way that you want. But he treated journalists by and large with dignity and respect for all the pressure that he was under. Your experience of him?
Yeah, well, Arsene Wenger joined Arsenal towards the twilight of my career, but I did referee, his teams a couple of times, and he brought a different dynamics to the game. There was an instant change in what Arsenal as a team were doing after the previous eras, and it gave you a lot to think about. Things to do with diet and the way they played and the way they set up and so forth. So tactically and things like that, that's always a challenge for a referee. So it was a nice challenge to start looking at different things and different ways.
You had to revise your view of an Arsenal team from the eras of George Graham, Bruce Ripley, briefly, etc.
That's what it meant to me, and that sort of challenge was great.
And he's not leaving football, is he? Come on, he's going to be falling over off, isn't he?
Yeah.
The other thing
rightly
is,
so.
The other thing is he brought some wonderful players to the Premier League, didn't he? Patrick Vieira, Henry,
Bergkamp at the time.
So some wonderful
players. Terrific.
Fantastic.
And I think some of the treatment of him has been absolutely disgraceful, but as usual, it's a loud minority.
Yes.
They may have had a point that this is the right time, but there's a way of making that point.
Of course there is.
And he didn't deserve it to be made in the disgraceful way at times it was made.
I just hope that they win the Europa League.
Yes,
I really do hope they win.
That'll be a major achievement this year.
And he gets them into the Champions League.
And I'm sure even more people than would have been the case normally will want that.
Of course they will.
Suddenly Arsenal will have a lot more fans because of the well wishes for Arsene Wenger. Just go quickly onto the Championship final and Football League generally, because I know you kept a close eye on it. Cardiff 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Big win for Cardiff and Neil Warnock, under pressure there. Peter Banks was the referee. There's one thing you want to say about that game. You mentioned an elbowing incident in that game.
I think it was Nottingham Forest's Fox just coming towards the end. I mean, he's clearly elbowed the Cardiff player, and I think that the second incident this weekend
didn't affect the result in the end.
No.
This referee, though, I don't know if he was shaken. Just a few days earlier, he was targeted for a disgraceful incident in which it was only one supporter, but a supporter who, in the Rochdale Oldham game in League One, ran onto the field making a beeline, clearly targeting the referee. And Anthony Gerrard, fortunately, the guy stumbled and Gerrard got in the way and blocked him. It's frightening for any referee.
All credit to a player.
Yeah.
Obviously, it can be a problem with players getting involved in spectators running onto the field of play. But in this instance, the support from the security staff was quick, and therefore they got the lad away. And they moved on. But you've got to ask yourself a question, as a referee in those circumstances, should he have been refereeing on Friday night when he was refereeing on Tuesday? Yeah. And that sort of incident happened. He must have felt he was all right, or the boy wouldn't have gone. It's as simple as that. But a big game on Friday night with Cardiff and Nottingham Forest.
With that incident, I just wonder, Rog, if do players play any part in that in previous games? I mean, the way they behave and the way they conduct themselves against the referees.
You're talking about Buffon here, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. So when players, when spectators and people see that, I just wonder. For me, players have got to set the greatest example on the field of play to millions of people that are watching. I just wonder if players got to play a bigger part in the way they conduct themselves.
It's a fair point, and. At the end of the day, this is the local derby. They're both knocking on the trapdoor to get relegated.
Big game.
So massive game. Finished one apiece. The point was no good to either of them, to be honest with you.
Was it 0-0? I thought it was 0, but I may.
0-0. It was. They had a point apiece.
Was
anyway.
It? Yeah, it was a point apiece. It was a point apiece in that. Tim Robinson. I mean, there's no particular incident to hang this on. Birmingham 2, Sheffield United 1. I heard various journalists and radio reporters saying what a good game it was, good honest game of football, and yet journalists from both camps were critical of the referee. Now, got nothing forensic to hang this on, but I just feel that when there's a traction of that sort and comment of that sort from both camps,
I think
you kind of question Tim Robinson.
Looking at the highlights, there was nothing there, but it's all about the 90 minutes. His recognition of foul, non-foul, inconsistency in his decision making. Yeah. So without watching the game for 90 minutes, it's impossible to comment, isn't it? But that, for me, I most probably think getting on his consistency in his decision making.
Right. Don't think there was any problem in Simon Hooper's game. Aston Villa made no problem from it. 4-0 winners at Ipswich, and Grant Ward sent off open and shut case for a bad challenge.
Poor chat. And to be fair to the player, he recognised it straight away. It wasn't intentional, but intentional was not in the laws of the game. So it was a correct sending off.
Talking about the laws of the game, I was at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday 3, Reading 0. Tyler Blackett of Reading was sent off. An incident around the touchline, kicking out at Atinuhu of Sheffield Wednesday. Interesting. Paul Clement, the Reading manager, sort of queried this decision. He said, "Well, look, the whistle had gone, and it was outside of the game." Is that relevant?
First and foremost, that didn't come into it.
Yeah.
Secondly, Tyler Blackett, all the more fool he is for the referee stopping play. He then gets up and then has a kick at the Sheffield Wednesday player.
Yeah. So he's asking for it.
He's saying to me, "Send me off," isn't he?
Violent conduct is violent conduct, whether the game is stopped or whether it's in motion.
Yeah, correct.
All right, that clarifies that. Sunderland relegated anyway, second successive season, terrible slide. Thought they got a late equaliser against Burton, who've still got a glimmer of hope. 2-1 win for Nigel Clough's team. Very late goal disallowed. I think it was initially awarded, or everybody thought it had.
Yeah,
and then disallowed for handball.
Yeah, I think it was
Darren England referee.
Darren England was the referee.
Correct decision.
You think that's correct? If it's the right decision in the end.
How they get there, it's how they got there. But from the goal being granted to the goal being disallowed, it was handball.
Okay.
End of story.
I know you want to congratulate John Coleman of Accrington. Wonderful achievement. What a good manager he's been over the years.
Absolutely fantastic.
And all the promotion winners. We congratulate.
He left Accrington Stanley for a short period of time, and he went to Rochdale, and then eventually he's gone back to Accrington. And his second stay there has been absolutely fantastic. The budget that he hasn't got, and the players he's brought through, and to see them promoted. At the end of this season is absolutely fantastic.
I know. He moans like Mario in referees' ears and all that. Does he? He's a
Scouser. He wears his heart on his sleeve. But the other good thing is we've had Accrington Stanley in our Uden trophy, and a couple of the guys that have been at Uden are now pros with him. Yeah. So we have this sort of relationship with Accrington, and it's great to see them up there.
But not only that, Miss Van, on Tuesday night after the game, they've all gone out.
Yes.
Gone out and he openly said they all went out and had quite a few lagers.
Yeah.
But then he said, they trained hard Thursday and Friday, and they won 4-0 at Wickham. So
at Wickham, third.
It doesn't hurt having a beer or two, does it?
I think none of us have not hurt. None of us on the panel to have a beer or two.
No.
I see parallels between John Coleman at Accrington and Keith Hill at Rochdale. What he consistently does. Just one final game to look at, unless there's anything else in the Football League that you want to talk about, Roger.
Yeah, I just think that we were looking at Cambridge and Stevenage. And Cambridge score a goal, and a split second before the ball goes in the net, the referee awards a penalty. The penalty's taken and it's missed.
Oh, that's now,
talking about Accrington Stanley, we had this with Trevor Kettle and Wimbledon, and he did exactly the same. Now, when will our referees in those situations just learn to take a second delay?
It's reading the game, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it'll get them out of jail because all they did, it brought a load of pressure onto Huxtable, the referee, and
just about holding that whistle. Hold the whistle.
What if?
Well, I'll tell you who was whistling for goals most at the weekend. That was Oliver Langford. 10 times he whistled for a goal. Bristol City 5. Hull City 5. You don't get many of those. Well, you don't get them in a season over 10 years. Or what's the highest? Do you remember your highest scoring games?
I do. It was a Premier League game. It was Portsmouth v Reading down at Fratton Park, 7-4.
Wow.
7-4, and I only gave 12 free kicks.
11 goals and 12 free kicks in that. So you beat Oliver Langford by one there because you had 11 goals, Roger?
Yeah, I did a Premier League game, Blackburn, Norwich City. And that was 7-2, I think it was, something like that.
Oh, you're just under
so
there,
9 goals. I'm not as good as Ollie.
You're not in the running there.
No.
Okay, well, that's been very entertaining. Chaps, thanks very much indeed. Comprehensive look at all the weekend football. And as ever, we'll be back next week. Thanks here to Roger Dilkes and to Mark Halsey. See you. Bye-bye. Bye.